85 civilians killed. Women, children, non-combatants, regular everyday people killed in a bombing by the Obama administration in Syria. We wonder how terrorism affects the U.S. I think a better question for us would be how the U.S. affects terrorism. As we look around, terrorism is the flavor of the day. Every single time Bernie would make gains in the campaign during the primaries, some terrorist activity would take place that would throw us all into a tizzy. We would all focus on all the wild stuff going on way over there, France, you name it. But let me tell you something. For all of our jingoism, for all of our flag waving, for all of our hip hip hooray USA, we're out there killing people by the thousands. We're killing people that have nothing to do with a war. And we're going to wonder why they want us to all die. They're going to wonder why they hate the USA. And there'll be people that will say, they hate us for our freedoms. I assure you they hate us for our bombs. And the more and more we dig into this, the more we realize how very important Bernie Sanders has been to awakening the masses. Because we are going to continue war-hawking foreign policy without Bernie Sanders, or without Jill Stein, without a real progressive at the helm. Look at the Democratic platform and how they couldn't even bring themselves to denounce Israel's settlements, how they couldn't even take a stronger stance to provide for the right of the living in Palestine. Our country is just screwed beyond words, folks. If we don't learn that we cannot bomb our way to peace, if we cannot figure out that killing children doesn't make us safer, if we cannot figure out that our militarization of the world, our empire, our imperialism, is destroying our viability long term, then we are going to be doomed to make the same mistakes over and over again. And then there'll be another Twin Towers that'll happen. There'll be another anthrax scare. There'll be another mass shooting. There'll be another something. Because we are like fertilizer to terrorism. We sit there and bomb these people that have absolutely nothing as it is. They're living in mud huts. We're talking about some very, very impoverished people, and we are just blowing the bejesus out of them. And then we're going to go over there and say we want to bring democracy to you. And then we're going to go over there and tell them how we're going to help them. And all of a sudden we bring the Halliburtons of the world, and we bring in all of our big corporations in to help rebuild what we've destroyed. And then we have the Clintons of the world saying, hey, it looks like we got another business opportunity here in Iraq. I don't know how to say this any more clearly. There is so much at stake in this election. There is so much at stake. And every time they try to distract you with the Trump signs, with all the Trump idiocy, they are hiding a bombing in Syria that killed 85 civilians. 85 people dead. We complain about 50 shot up in a nightclub. We complain about some shot up in, 22 shot up here, 22 shot up there. And it's the same people flashing their all lives matter nonsense. Well, if all lives matter, let's see you put that to the test. I can't even keep my eyes dry thinking about what my kids are going to inherit if we don't fight against this. They don't hate us for our freedoms, folks. They hate us because we blow them to pieces. They hate us because we think we have the right to destabilize their entire region. They hate us because we are arrogant assholes that have no problem killing them to make a buck for our profit, our military-industrial complex. I don't know how to tell you this, but we're going to keep doing this if we elect Clinton. Why do I say this? Look around and tell me how many Obama supporters you see out there with their arms up screaming about killing civilians. They're nowhere to be found. They're silent. They're staying quiet. Why? Because the just vote blue line of silence is almost as bad as the police blue wall of silence. They do not condemn their own. They do not critique their own. They do not hold them accountable. If Donald Trump gets into office, there's going to be a whole lot to account for. There's going to be an awful lot of bad things that we have to explain away and fight through. But you know one thing is for sure? The same vote blue, quiet people that haven't said one peep about the 85 dead civilians in Syria, those same people will be up in arms if Donald Trump were to remotely say anything about going to war, about deporting anyone. They would be up in arms. The same people that would support it under a Democratic president will be the very people that we could once again join arms with, that would remember they are anti-war. They would remember, but they don't, because they have this vote blue code where they just ignore all facts. They ignore any truth and they write it off as nuance. And they tell you, hey, what do you think? It would be better under a Republican? No, it's not a matter of it being right or better under a Republican. What it is a matter of is making sure that Democrats no longer are warmongers. And if you can't get that through your head, it really is time to exit the Democratic Party and leave and start something fresh that actually cares about human life, cares about animal life, that cares about our planet, cares about our children. I have been heartbroken. I've read this stuff and I just keep thinking it's never going to end. It's never going to end. When will it ever end? We can't keep doing this. We need someone to go out there and remember what diplomacy is all about, to remember what it means to be a statesman, to remember what it means to actually care about human beings and to take care of them and feed them, to clothe them, to provide shelter, to not blow them to pieces and then say, whoops, my bad. I don't know if you all can appreciate the gravity of what I'm saying right now, but we need a whole new way of looking at the world, and we're not going to get it with Hillary Clinton. We're not going to get it with Donald Trump, but we will all unite against Donald Trump. We would not all unite against Hillary. The silence of her crimes will be as deafening as they are today. And she will have every one of her sycophants in positions of power to keep information to a minimum, to block us from knowledge, to lie to us, to have us screaming at the television at Donald Trump's wife's plagiarism instead of focusing on 85 dead civilians in Syria. All lives matter? Really? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. If you want to make something happen, we have got to stand against Hillary Clinton. We have got to do it, and we've got to mean it. And we've got to bring others into the fold, and we've got to make the Never Hillary symbols go up faster than you can say Slick Willie. We have got to rally around Never Hillary. And we've got to fight tooth and nail to get Bernie the nomination. And if he is held back, we need to make such civil unrest that they don't even know what to do with us. They run out of plastic handcuffs. They run out of jail cells. They run out of space for us. And they just have to make change. Because, folks, if we don't stand against this, no one will. No one. We are a warmongering nation. We are a bunch of killers. Support the troops? Sure, I support the troops. But I don't support our nation's policies of blowing people to smithereens. I don't at all. And I have kids that are military age. And I don't want the blood on their hands either. I'm asking you all to stand firm and not let this happen for any reason under the sun. We cannot have another neoliberal, neocon war hawk sending us all over the world killing people. Think about that as you go ahead and have your coffee and your lunch. You go home and bounce your kids on your knee. You go home and cut the grass. You go home and watch Family Feud. Go home and watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. And you think about those dead people, and you think about the fact that our government did that. And then you think about, why is there terrorism in the world? And then you ask yourself, why are you still sitting still and not fighting? Why are you allowing this to happen? We have got to stay solid, and we cannot allow her to take office. There is nothing more dangerous than a Clinton in the White House. Nothing. No Trump fear could ever touch what Hillary could do with that power. There is nothing more frightening on the planet than Hillary Rodham Clinton with the codes. This is Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. I hope I made you think today.